Right, I've been saving this one for a rainy day, and if there's one thing we've had a lot of just lately, it's rainy days. We all have different tastes when it comes to buying bike boats. I personally prefer a classic boat. Not necessarily a classic bike boat, but a classic styled boat. Something that is designed and is suitable for riding a bike, but something that also looks good if worn casually or while you're off the bike walking around. Now, over the past 3 years I've been wearing a pair of Triumph waterproof boots. A nice classic brown lace-up boot. Comfortable enough, waterproof and very durable, but it's always been the devil's own job getting them on and getting them off. In fact, more recently I'd got to the point where I was choosing other boots over them because I just couldn't be doing with the hassle of getting them on. And so about 3 months ago I started doing some research into a new pair of boots. Something of a similar classic style, waterproof, and something that was easy to get on and off. I was looking for a mid-range boot somewhere between sort of £150 and £200, and to be honest I was struggling to find something online that I actually liked, and eventually ended up in one of my local motorcycle dealerships. I spoke to the guy in the clothing department, I pointed to the Triumph boots that I were wearing, I explained the problem with them and asked him if he had something similar. And straight away he took me over to these Gianni Falco Aviators, a boot that I took an instant liking to. Now at that same time there was another guy at the counter buying something or other, I don't know what it was. And I asked the sales assistant just how waterproof these boots were. Now the guy at the counter's ears pricked up. I noticed that he was eyeing up the boots that I was trying on, and he proclaimed that he was wearing exactly the same boots. He'd bought some prior to a 2-week trip around the continent, and he stated quite resolutely that the first 3 days of the trip had been constant hammering rain, and that these boots had kept his feet totally dry for those full 3 days, and that he highly recommended them. So that was that question answered. And the more I looked into them, the more I liked them. They just seemed to tick every single box for me. Now I personally prefer a classic lace-up type boot, but these are lace-up boots with a twist. They have a full waterproof and comfort lining. They also feature a well-positioned arch support inside, with the upper of the boot being made from a thick vintage style dark brown leather. I think there also is a black version. Now, I don't know what you call this style of sole. I call them a work boot sole. There might be a different name for it, I don't know. But it's a good thick sole and it affords plenty of grip. They do feature CE approved armour, but the only places I can actually find the armour is at the ankles, with a hidden disc of armour hidden beneath the leather on either side. The defining feature of these boots, however, is this. They feature a zip at either side of the lace, and when you fully unfasten these zips, it opens the top of the boot up completely for ease of getting the boot on and off, which completely removes the red faces and swearing whilst you're trying to get them on or off. You can then fasten up the laces to adjust them for size and fit, and that theoretically should be the last time you have to tie your laces. From there on in, it's just a matter of unfastening the zips and gently sliding the boot off, and vice versa when you're putting them back on. And it's a stroke of genius. Okay, the zips are visible, but they are pretty unobtrusive. At a glance they just look like an ordinary pair of lace-up boots. It's just like putting your favourite pair of slippers on. And the similarity with a pair of slippers doesn't end there, because these are quite possibly the most comfortable pair of bike boots I have ever owned. That lining gives a really plush, soft feel as it sort of hugs your feet. And as soon as you start actually walking around in these boots, that well-designed arch support comes into its own. Although the leather is pretty thick, these are after all a substantial bike boot. Right from the word go, I just found them to be really easy and comfortable to walk in. And I've worn them a lot. Now the lace-up area generally is a weak spot when it comes to waterproofing. Add to that 2 zips and it's a recipe for disaster. But Gianni Falco have cunningly contained the whole fastening system within a sewn-in waterproof tongue, which ensures that absolutely no water that gets past the fasteners or zip can get into the boot. Quality and attention to detail being something that Gianni Falco, a well-known purveyor of fine Italian leather, is famous for. Now, as it happens, I ended up buying these from FC Moto, the reason being that at the time the price came in just a few pounds under the lowest part of the budget I'd set. So I will of course leave a link to their website in the video description down below. These are a fine pair of motorcycle boots, ideal for the modern classic rider that aspires to look good both on and off his motorcycle. Once again, thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I'll be back next week, so until then, ride safely and I'll see you soon.